Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Pan Future Society podcast. I am your host, Sean, and it is Saturday, January 7th, 2017. Welcome to my first show of the new year. I hope your holiday season, time off / vacation / whatever it was, treated you well. And I'm going to do something a little bit different for the show, first show of the year today. To start off this new year, hopefully a better one than last, I want to offer some overarching themes in the next few shows. I'll get a little more philosophical in these shows as well. As I've researched and recorded each show since last May, I've been trying to refine my approach and consider the most important elements I can bring to you. As I ponder the future and what lies between now and reaching some sort of grand future for humanity, the immediate roadblocks I see are a severe lack of understanding science at a basic level, which includes emotional dismissal of actual experts and facts, and our unpreparedness for the job losses that AI and robots will bring, along with the coming massive shifts in our culture and civilization as a result. With these themes in mind, I want to give you food for thought, things to consider when you're watching news or thinking about who to vote for. Also coming up soon, I have some very cool interviews lined up. I don't want to put them on the schedule specifically until they've happened because people's schedules can change at the last minute, but those will make their way to the feed soon as well. But first, it came from outer space. I was considering not even having any news this week, but I can't let this go. I'll give you some space news for this week. NASA has selected 2 missions to explore the early solar system. These 2 missions, known as Lucy and Psyche, were chosen from 5 finalists and will launch in 2021 and 2023, hopefully. Lucy will visit Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, and Psyche will study a unique metal asteroid that has not been visited before. The Lucy spacecraft will arrive first in the main belt asteroid in 2025, and then from 2027 to 2033, it will explore 6 Jupiter Trojan asteroids. These asteroids are trapped by Jupiter's gravity in 2 swarms that share the planet's orbit. They sort of follow it around like dogs or something. One is leading the planet, one is behind the planet in its circuit around the sun. These Trojans are thought to be relics of a much earlier era in the solar system's history and may have formed out beyond Jupiter's current orbit. They named it Lucy after the human fossil, which gave us insight into our very earliest ancestors. This may give us some insight into the earliest parts of the solar system, earliest things that formed. These missions, the things they're exploring, might give us insight into things that happened as early as 10 million years after the formation of our sun. The Psyche mission will explore an intriguing asteroid that has not yet been visited. It is a giant metal asteroid known as 16 Psyche. This asteroid is about 130 miles or 210 kilometers in diameter, and unlike most other asteroids that are rocky or icy, it is thought to be comprised almost entirely of metallic iron and nickel, similar to what we believe is in Earth's core. There is speculation that Psyche could be an exposed core remnant of an early planet that might have been as large as Mars, but lost its rocky outer layers due to collisions, and perhaps those rocky outer layers are what makes up part of the asteroid belt. But this will give scientists a chance to see perhaps how other planets are separated into their layers and give them a closer look at what a planetary core might actually look like. They are using some instruments or newer versions of instruments that were used in the New Horizons mission. And it will also build on technology that was used in missions like the OSIRIS-REx mission. These missions are part of NASA's Discovery Program class of missions. These are relatively low cost, and their development is capped at about $450 million. This Discovery Program has 12 prior missions, which includes the Messenger mission to Mercury, Dawn, to asteroids Vesta and Ceres, and the InSight Mars lander, which is scheduled to be launched in May of 2018. NASA has gotten quite good at these lower cost exploratory missions and has gotten an enormous amount of success. If you've seen any of the photos and whatnot sent back from New Horizons or Messenger, it's really quite remarkable stuff. On the other hand, I would like to see NASA's budget quadrupled at the very least. But, I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. Anyway, in a few years hence, keep a lookout for new data incoming on the history of the early solar system. And that's your news of the moment. We are always at the beginning. Every time I look closer at a wonderful thing being explored right now, I see just a hint of the true potential of the thing. No matter how far we think we've come since the ancient Greeks, the Age of Enlightenment, the Industrial Revolution, since the dawn of the rocket age and the computer age, all of that put together just paints a hazy impressionist picture of the potential outcome. Everywhere we look, there is technology that, while often not as new as we think, is about to offer rapid change in our world. The roots of things like artificial intelligence and 3D printing are older than you think, but what we can do with them is just at the very start of an explosion of application that hasn't been seen since the steam engine and widespread electricity. At the same time, these technological changes will alter our society and culture in ways that we've never seen. None of the tech booms of the past will compare to what could be getting underway right now. We are always at the beginning. People still do awful things to each other. I just read a story about a group of people kidnapping and beating a mentally disabled young man. They will be charged with a hate crime in part because of the racial epithets that they used as they live streamed the event on Facebook. To me, things like this, the war in Syria, all of it, sits like a rock in my gut. This repeated cycle of hate and violence, mistrust and abuse is a failure of civilization. It is a failure of us to be better than our gut-level instinct and emotional reactions might want us to be. If we can't avoid giving in to violent reactions, and if we as a civilization can't learn to avoid the inequality, hopelessness, and rage that leads people to act out or allows them to be misled, we will fail. I try to be more hopeful in this show. That's one of the reasons I do this show, is for that hope, that look into the future that will be better. And some days it's very, very hard. But still, we carry on, don't we? That's all we can do. On to the main segment, a little philosophical bit about jobs. Yes, I've already done quite a few shows about jobs, but it's going to be a big theme for the immediate future for all of us. Every politician will tell you that they will create jobs. It's an argument that probably goes back to the Great Depression, if not further. Liberals and conservatives both sound the call, they just differ in the details. Sometimes they come through, often they don't, and like many things politicians say, they first say it because they want your vote. Whether it comes to pass is secondary. They are all wrong. Jobs are not going to go to Mexico and China. Jobs are going away forever. I've already done a series on the future of jobs, but just in the few weeks I was off, so much news has bubbled up. Foxconn, one of the biggest manufacturers in China, is expanding its use of robots. Amazon has gone from 30,000 robots over the holiday season last year to 45,000 now. And since 2010, Amazon has gone from a little over 28,000 part-time employees to a whopping 300,000 now. An Oxford University study recently predicted that nearly 50% of jobs will vanish in the next 25 years. All sectors are being impacted: service, fast food, warehouse, medical, legal, even creative jobs. My day job could be automated. Even though I work in music, much of what I do isn't something unique to me, and since I work in the digital world, I could eventually be replaced. If handwriting recognition gets better, or if someone learned to program more complex algorithms, I'm done. Probably what saves me is that the cost of automating my job right now is too high. For now, anyway. And that's another lesson we need to learn today. Right now, we have or are very close to overcoming the technical challenges to automation across all kinds of work. The expense is a larger roadblock. But once the tech starts getting out there, the price will drop fast. Remember when a VCR cost $800? Maybe a better question is, do you remember what a VCR is? I don't know what the average age of my listening audience might be. The storyline will continue to be a primary feature as the show goes on, not only on the tech side, but also, and maybe more importantly, the social and societal side. We have spent a few centuries defining ourselves by our jobs. It's how we organize our lives. What we do for a large chunk of the day separates and shapes the rest of our time. How many people do you know with family names like Baker, Fisher, or Shepherd? Or add an S-O-N to those, Shepherdson. So many names originate from an occupation or your father's occupation. Even before there were things we called jobs, there was labor. It was necessary to survive, so we worked in the fields, cooked, raised animals, or wove textiles, sun up to sundown, for most of our history. Over time, all work has gotten easier because of technology, and we have more leisure time. We need to prepare ourselves when we have all or almost all of our time free. Here's a quote. And what hurts is the steadily diminishing humanity of those fighting to hold jobs they don't want, but fear the alternative worse. People simply empty out. That is from Charles Bukowski, writer. That is from a letter he wrote in 1986 to publisher John Martin after Martin offered him $100 a month for life as long as he'd quit his day job and write full-time. Despite his previous success, Bukowski still punched a clock. Another famed Bukowski quote is, "Slavery was never abolished. It was only extended to include all the colors." Economist John Maynard Keynes predicted in 1930 that we would work a 15-hour work week by the end of the 20th century, largely through technological innovation. That didn't happen, and the opinions of why it didn't, why it should happen, or even why it shouldn't happen are widely varied. Some people fear taking away the sense of purpose from these jobs. Some think it will be bad for the economy. Some think it did happen, but in different ways, like making home life more efficient, saving us time there rather than at work. But I think where we are now, today, we could have that 15-hour work week if we were willing to take the right steps. Even simply, instead of having fewer people do more, have more people do less. That's a large part of why this 15 hours didn't happen. Instead of having 100 employees for 40 hours a week, you've now got 20 employees for 40 hours a week, producing even more than those 40 employees did in the past. Listening to every politician who promises jobs is not the right step. Do we need more McDonald's and more Walmarts? Do we need more manufacturing done by hand? Jobs that can be exhausting and even dangerous? Do you really want to work in fast food or in a steel mill? There are people who enjoy being around other people and enjoy customer service. And those skilled labor jobs our fathers and grandfathers had were good, honest jobs. But there are better ways to enjoy being around people and better ways to get the feeling of accomplishment from a job well done in the 21st century. We have to change the mindset that we define our worth by our jobs and by our productivity. Most of us do our jobs for other people. Is that really meaningful? We've been fooled into thinking the only way to be useful is to be a cog in a wheel. That was once okay when we were paid enough that our lives outside of work could be made more meaningful with the money that we were paid. The next step in human progress is to have the equality for everyone to define themselves in their own terms, not by how productive they can be for someone else. We will redefine what it means to be a member of society. We also have to deal with inequality. Much of the progress I've talked about depends on money. Someday we won't have money at all, but the bridge to that time is likely very expensive. It will be tragic and a failure of our humanity if only the rich get groundbreaking healthcare, or have robots to care for them, or have access to whatever it is in the world that allows us to be more free. I talk about things on the show and I realize that most parts of the world don't even have what I have right now. That has to change. All right, that's your show for this week. Thank you so much for joining me in this new year. And I hope we can all keep looking to the future, a better, brighter future, etc., etc. Anyway, like I mentioned before, I'm going to have a few more philosophical, big picture type shows coming up, and sprinkled in there should be some interviews with some very interesting people with interesting jobs that are related to the sorts of things that we talk about on the show. As always, you can visit us online at panfuture.org. Email me at sean@panfuture.org. And if you wonder from time to time why I kind of slip back and forth between saying, email me or visit us online, we, them, I, you, me, I mix my pronouns a little bit. When I first started this podcast, I did kind of envision it as something people would join. I don't have an official thing to join on my website yet. It's something I probably need to work on. But for all of you who've joined me on Twitter and Facebook, you can be part of the collective we, I guess, and we'll just say that when I slip back and forth between I and we, it's not just the voices in my head I'm talking about. Anyway, be better tomorrow than you were today, and I will talk to you again in the future.